What's up, beautiful people? How are you guys today? I hope everyone's doing well. Today I'm going to go over the 3 root causes and triggers of Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism. So the first one is intestinal permeability, which is also known as leaky gut. The second one is environmental stressors. And the third one is genetics. Okay, so this part is super controversial for some because it goes against what traditional information we have been fed for far too long. Here's the thing, you can say whatever you want, but the proof is in the pudding. So when I see thousands and thousands of people getting rid of their symptoms or flat out reversing their disease through lifestyle changes, I tend to follow the people's personal stories and testimonials before anything else. To me, it's just total common sense, but who knows? There's also tons of studies out there that are totally Googleable, and yes, I just made that word up, you're welcome. There are tons of functional doctors who are also helping people overcome all kinds of diseases, including hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's, through lifestyle changes and getting to the root cause. And lastly, people like me who are just living proof. Just do a YouTube search on it and you'll see thousands and thousands of people sharing their personal stories and testimonials. So, what are some of the actual causes for hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's disease, along with adrenal fatigue? Do you guys know? Well, there's a few, but mostly it comes down to lifestyle and diet choices. Yes, I said choices. These choices happen over a long period of time, and then at some point they trigger the disease. Yes, it absolutely may be genetics, but it must be triggered by something, and I'm gonna go over those very triggers with you right now. So some of you might already know, and some may come as a total shock, and you might even call me crazy, but I'm not crazy. Okay, I might be a little crazy, but I know what I'm talking about, and I have tons of science, research, and experience to back it up, okay? So here it goes. 95% of hypothyroid patients also have Hashimoto's, and more than 9 out of 10 people diagnosed with hypothyroidism have Hashimoto's. That's crazy, right? And hypothyroidism is almost always accompanied by adrenal fatigue. Adrenal fatigue is the warning signs of pre-hypo as well. There is an amazing doctor. His name is Dr. Alesso Fasano. He's a world-renowned gastroenterologist, celiac disease, and autoimmune expert, and he describes autoimmunity as a 3-legged stool that needs 3 things to be present to manifest. 1, the right genes, 2, the trigger, and 3, leaky gut, which in other terms is called intestinal permeability. He goes on to say that while we can't change our genes, we can reverse the autoimmune condition by removing the triggers and intestinal permeability, aka leaky gut. So yes, you can reverse it, and there are thousands of cases out there just to prove it. You just need to look with your looking eyes. He also uses the example of celiac disease to explain this phenomenon. If you don't already know, celiac disease is a unique autoimmune condition where gluten acts as both the trigger and the causes of leaky gut, aka intestinal permeability. Once gluten is removed, the body is able to heal and regenerate itself. Yes, I said gluten, and don't freak out. But I don't have celiac disease, you say. It doesn't matter, and this should absolutely be removed, at least temporarily. And I'll tell you why. But first, let's go over leaky gut. I know it sounds totally gross, and most people hear this term and think, oh, I don't have that, because it just sounds like you have some kind of poop problem. Well, at least that's what I thought, okay? So what is leaky gut? What is it, right? Okay, well, picture your intestinal wall, which is your digestive tract wall. Picture it as a cheesecloth or a net per se, and only certain nutrients from our food should be going through that net and into our bloodstream. So when you have chronic inflammation inside of your intestinal wall due to poor diet, poor lifestyle habits, or just too much stress, etc., what happens is that it damages the net and it tears open. And when this happens, certain things starts passing through that are never supposed to get into your bloodstream in the first place, such as gluten or casein or other foods that cause inflammation in the body once in the bloodstream. So when these inflammatory foods get into your bloodstream, it will create food sensitivities that you might not have ever had before, like lactose intolerant or gluten intolerance, or even intolerance to healthy foods like nuts or tomatoes or stuff like that. So have you ever heard of, let's say, molecular mimicry? Well, the protein structure of a molecule, say of gluten and say of casein that comes from dairy, they look very, very similar to the thyroid tissue. They look so similar that the immune system can get totally confused. So let's say you have a gluten sensitivity now, and your body is going to attack the gluten because you have leaky gut and it slipped into your bloodstream. But instead of attacking the gluten or the casein or the corn molecule, it will then attack your own thyroid, which is called autoimmunity. Mind blown, right? Mine was. This is why it is imperative to stay away from gluten or any inflammatory foods such as dairy, sugar, caffeine, soy, etc. with any disease, whether it's hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's or diabetes. The gut needs to heal before the rest of the body can heal, period. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to live this way forever, so relax. You probably want to follow a diet plan for at least 3 months at a very, very minimum. Here's the thing, everyone's different, meaning you very well may not have an intolerance to certain foods the way the next person does. But I will tell you this, studies show that 85% of people with hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's is gluten intolerant. And most people don't even know that they're intolerant because people's symptoms vary in each person. And gluten is just one example of inflammatory foods. There is also tons of other grains, dairy, coffee, sugar, soy, oils, etc. Farmed meat, fish, gross. So later this week, I'm gonna talk to you about what foods to eat, what foods not to eat, and why. And also, before I go, don't forget about the Big 5 challenge that I'm doing this coming Monday, the 27th, where I'm challenging you to 5 simple daily routines to jumpstart your thyroid health. You don't wanna miss it, okay? So I'll catch you guys on the flip side.